All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You guys are really going to love this one. It's called The True Strength of the Church, and it's from way back in 1973 by Elder Gordon B. Hinckley.
Who, of course, later became president of the LDS
Right,
Church.
so this is Prime Hinckley, and I'm really interested to dig into this one with you and see what we can learn from it today. So he jumps right in with this story about an Asian naval officer who's considering joining the church. Um, and
This
it-
is no small decision, right? Because he's got to go back home.
yeah, you got to go back home and face the music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about a slap on the wrist here. This is 1973 in Asia. We're
Yeah.
talking like serious consequences.
Absolutely. So you really get this sense of weight behind his decision, and you almost wonder, like, what would make someone risk it all like that?
It's a powerful question. And I think it actually sets the stage for everything else he talks about in this talk.
And that's just the first story. He goes on to tell another one about an engineer who is, I guess, less than thrilled when his wife decides to join the church.
Yeah, furious, actually.
Yeah, furious is a good word for it.
Right.
He's worried about their time, their money, what their friends will think, all that practical stuff.
But here's the interesting part. As he starts to really listen to what she's learning, a real shift happens. He goes from this place of anger and frustration to a place of peace.
It's almost like he found something he didn't even know he was looking for.
Absolutely. And it gets to the heart of what Hinckley's trying to say here.
Yeah.
Those stories aren't just anecdotes. They're illustrations of a much bigger point.
I'm with that.
He's saying that true strength in any system, in a church, in a family, even in yourself, comes from the inside out. It comes from this place of deep personal conviction.
Not just rules or requirements.
Exactly. He says, and this is quote, "Discipline imposed for the sake of discipline is repressive. But when it comes from a place of personal conviction, that's where the magic happens."
It's not about blind obedience then. It's about understanding why and choosing it for yourself.
Exactly. And I think that's a really important distinction to make.
So how does this all tie back to the church's growth? He talks about that a bit, right?
He does. And I think it's actually a really important part of this whole message. He's saying that the church's growth isn't just about being strict or having a lot of rules.
It's about people genuinely believing this is God's work.
Right. It's about people looking at it and thinking, I want to be a part of that. I connect with that.
And that's a powerful thing. You see it all the time, right? Not just in religion, but in any movement or community. The ones that really thrive, that have that staying power, it's because the people in them truly believe in what they're doing. And he goes on to hear another story about a medical doctor who converts. And this really got me thinking, because you'd figure someone in her position, highly educated, successful, she'd have it all figured out, right?
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But he really emphasizes that she was feeling spiritually lost.
Really?
Yeah. Like she had everything on paper, but something was missing.
I get that.
And what I find really interesting is he points out that she wasn't just stumbling around in the dark. She was actively searching, seeking something more.
And that's when she found the church.
Exactly. He actually quotes her as saying, "The miracle of it all is that he found me."
Wow. That gives me chills. Like truth has a way of finding you when you're ready for it.
I think so. And it goes back to that idea of personal revelation that he keeps coming back to.
Right. He says, each man may know for himself that it is true through the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And knowing that it is true, he will be inclined to discipline himself.
Which is a really powerful statement, especially back then in the 70s.
What do you mean?
Well, it was a time of questioning authority, right? People were looking for meaning outside of those traditional structures. And here's Hinckley saying, you don't have to blindly follow. You can know for yourself.
That's huge. And you know what? It's almost more relevant today than ever.
How so?
Well, think about it. We're constantly bombarded with information, different perspectives. It's easy to feel lost in all of that.
That's true. And that's why I think this talk is so powerful even decades later.
Because it gives us a framework.
Exactly. He's saying seek truth for yourself. Find what resonates with you on a core level. And then let that guide your actions.
So it's not just about religion then. It's about finding your own inner compass, whatever that looks like for you.
Absolutely. And trusting that compass, even when it's hard. Even when it leads you down a different path than you expected.
Like that naval officer we talked about, risking it all because he knew in his heart it was the right thing to do.
Exactly. And that's a powerful message no matter who you are or what you believe in.
You know, it's funny. We talk about strength like it's this external thing, right? Muscles, achievements, all that. But Hinckley's saying it's really about something much deeper.
It's that inner strength.
Yeah, conviction that you're living in alignment with what you believe.
And it's not just about believing something, is it? It's about being willing to actually live by it, even when it's hard. even when it means sacrificing something.
Ooh, that's a good point. He really drives that home.
He does. He challenges us to ask ourselves, what are we willing to stand up for? What are we willing to sacrifice for?
Because that's where true strength comes from, right? It's not passive.
Not at all. It's about action. It's about aligning your life with your beliefs even when it's inconvenient, even when it means going against the grain.
So, just to bring it all home for us, we've got Hinckley back in 1973 talking about conviction being the true source of strength. Not rules, not appearances, but that deep down belief.
It's about knowing what you stand for and having the courage to act on it.
And what I find really inspiring is that he believes this kind of conviction is available to everyone. It's not some exclusive club.
Right. Exactly. It's about personal revelation. It's about searching for truth and then having the courage to live by it, even if it means going against the grain.
Which, let's be honest, takes guts.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk the talk, but walking the walk, that's where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes this talk so powerful. It's a call to action. It's a challenge to live our lives with integrity, to be true to ourselves and what we believe in.
To find that inner strength and let it guide us.
Exactly.
This has been fantastic, really. It's given me a lot to think about.
Me too.
And to everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What resonated with you from this talk? What are you willing to stand up for?
Let's keep this conversation going.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep diving deep.